Hi, my little witchlings. This is Bohemia with Bohemian Stars and Ocean Heart readings, and we are doing our Earth Element study, a pick a card version for our little witchling sessions we have going on. So I hope you guys are excited and like this idea. We're going to talk about different earth energies and representations. We have natural things for you to pick out for your pick a card. I did some guided diving into my herb bags and boxes and picked out herbs for each one of you to work with. I have essential oils for you guys to work with. I also have a a link down below that I'll put that's for meditation with certain parts of the earth, nature sounds that will be for you along with your particular reading that you pick. So I want to make it as interactive as possible and all sensory. I really love to have, all the senses going when we're learning. I think it's the best method. When I have I call them my coven classes, and I'm teaching young witchlings and psychics and things in my classes, I like to be very hands-on with things as much as we can. And I have jasmine incense burning here that smells wonderful, so that might connect with you or be of some significance. Now, I couldn't find all of my astrology cards, so I'm going to show you which zodiac signs are connected with the element of earth. We also have planets that are as well, and I have cards everywhere. I've got them mostly organized. Be proud of me, guys. But those little ones, they're small, and I just can't find them at the moment. So I can find part of them, but not all of them. So that's kind of weird, but but not so weird. All right, so let me know what you think of this reading. We're going to go through the five elements, which make up the pentacle, and that is earth, fire, water, air, and spirit. And we will study each of them, do pick a cards for them, learn about different focus points for yourself. We learn about what we need to give back to the earth, how to connect. We have some messages from the animals and the fairies as well. So it's going to be a simple reading, but there's a lot going on and hopefully a lot of information and tidbits for you to be able to connect with and make your own in your own practices and working. So I'm so excited. Get out your notebooks, your grimoires, be prepared to go. And these are just little launching tidbits for you to go down your own path of, research and study and communing. Nothing can beat you actually going out on what I call like nature walks or prayer walks, where it's like where your walk is your prayer, your meditation, your ritual, and you just let the land take you. You connect, you listen to the animals that are around, you pay attention to, you might find fairy portals and just sacred groves and spots, and go out and connect as much as you can. And yes, I've been a city witch as much as I've been out in the nature too, so you can definitely do this in the city. Find the trees that need love, they love to connect. Go find the ancestor trees, the ancient trees that are in your city. They probably need protection, to look out for them because they don't care nowadays. And most of them, quite often, you'll find them either by the riverbanks or by the city squares. And so they need a lot of protection. So there's so many ways you can connect to nature. And believe me, going and actually sitting with flowers and trees and things, they will tell you their medicine. They will reveal their medicines to you if they're in the mood to do so. And if not, you might just end up with some little stickers and little snags in your clothes, stickers in your hair from that plant when they're like, I said back off. I'm trying to sleep. So I would love to hear your earth connection stories, your connection to the earth element down below. Drop your sign if you're an earth sign, if you have earth in your chart, and we're going to get into it. So first, let's talk about the zodiac signs. So zodiac signs that are related or that are the earth element in astrology, we have Virgo, that is mutable earth. It comes at the end of its season. So Virgo is the changeover from summer into fall. And then we have Taurus, which is current season, Taurus season, earth season, which is why, shout out to Taurus, why we started with the earth element. And actually, it's now early in the morning because I had to wait for baby Magic to go to sleep. But this reading was inspired by Earth Day as well, which just happened technically yesterday. It's still my night of Earth Day. So Taurus is the fixed the fixed Earth sign. Yes, the fixed Taurus sign, right? They're like, I'm just Taurus. They come in the middle of their season. So right now, Aries already started spring. Gemini will end it, but in the smack dab middle, when it's the most spring of the spring, it is Taurus season. And that's why fixed signs are very stubborn in their elements, because they really own it. They're what you think of when you think of that season. And then we have Capricorn. Capricorn is a cardinal sign. It starts its season. So we have winter solstice, and that is technically when winter starts. So a lot of people think December, the beginning, or the end of November, but that's actually Sagittarius season. Winter doesn't begin until we hit the earth sign, the cardinal earth sign of Capricorn, just before Christmas on winter solstice. So there are two different glyphs for the earth. This is the Sacred Symbols Oracle. I'll have all decks listed down below. In this deck, they use this glyph, which actually ties into astrology perfectly, because did you know the glyph of the earth is our natal chart? Doesn't that look familiar? See the quadrants there? The different hemispheres there? Yeah, like when I didn't realize that at first when I was a young astrologer, and then when that hit me, I was like, oh my God, it literally is our cosmic fingerprint, the stars, anchored down into our earth, into the glyph of earth. And it's like our imprint here, and that connection from the stars down onto the earth plane. So our natal charts are so powerful. This is one of the glyphs for earth. You'll see it's the medicine wheel. You'll see it in many different forms. And you'll see it reflects the compass, different things like that. So very sacred symbol. And then also the inverted triangle. So just an upside down triangle with no other lines through it, just an empty upside down triangle, is the sign for earth as well. So if you're just doing elemental glyphs, that's the one you would use. When you just see like the 4 different kinds of triangles, the inverted, empty, no lines through it triangle is the earth, the earth symbol. So let's get into our options so we can get into our pick a card. The planets. So Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn. That is an earth-based planet. We have Venus, which is connected to air and earth because it rules Libra and Taurus, but it's a very earthy planet. And let's see, what other planets do we have? I have to run through the planets. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Uranus, Pluto, Saturn. So Mercury, technically, it's not really an earth. It's pretty just mercurial. That's why we say that. It's very air. It rules Virgo, but a lot of astrologers are saying that Chiron, which is a dwarf planet, should be the ruler of Virgo, and that's more earthy. So there's not actually too many, like, really hardcore earth planets, and that's probably why Saturn goes so hard, because Saturn is kind of the only true earth planet I think that there is besides Earth. But you know what I mean, like the earth element. But even Saturn, we got the T on Saturn. Traditionally, they ruled that air sign of Aquarius. Okay, Saturn. Okay, so now moving on. We have option 1. We have this gorgeous piece of bark, this tree bark here, which I love and has been on many of my summer altars, my earth altars. Number 2, this is a completely natural. I've shown it before. It is a perfect palm stone, and it was just found naturally like that, like literally the imprint of the fingers and everything. Like, what? Did an ancestor make this and leave it for us? Number 3, we have our acorn buddy back. And number 4, we have our little pinecone buddy back. So thank you, Faye, because those are with the fairies. And so I borrowed them for this reading. So we put fairy cards in the reading, okay? I wasn't going to not have them in the reading when I'm borrowing their stuff. I asked. So these are your options. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and pick your option. We'll get into it, and I'll let you know your essential oil and your herb in your reading, okay? Timestamp should be down below. Now let me carefully, just one moment. I have to carefully maneuver all this because we have a lot of goodies over here. Got a little candle going, so I don't want to, I put the candle to the side because I was like, okay, I can't have fire trying to steal the thunder of the earth element. Earth element's like, that's right, sit back, fire signs. All right, number 1, for those of you that chose number 1, let's see your reading, your advice for your path. It's so funny because I was just thinking that there was like a big truck that just went by and it was so loud, and you got noise pollution. We got the High Priestess. We got the Horned God, which is the Emperor. We have Sorceress. Okay, big witchy boos. And we have This is supposed to be like a little pentacle shape, so one each. And then on the top here, we're going to have the Tarot of the Trees. So with the Tarot of the Trees, I actually only drew from the suit of Pentacles in that deck, and I'm going to do that for each element. So for Pentacles, we'll do for the earth element, Cups will do for water, Swords for air, rods or staves or wands, whatever you want to call it, for fire, and then for Spirit we'll do from the major arcana. So that's another way that you can utilize tarot, is if you're trying to study the earth element, pull out the suit of Pentacles, aka coins, because they are, aka discs, they are the ones that show the journey of Pentacles. And I forgot to bring it, oh shoot, I'm gonna have to mention this in each timestamp now. I forgot to bring it, but Avatar, The Last Airbender, I know you guys are hyped to that, right? We scan Avatar. That is really great to watch, to learn the elements. They do an excellent job. Like if you have kids, have them watch that young. It will naturally teach them the lessons of the elements. The one that I have is actually the earth one, so I wanted to bring it and put it in the video, but I'll link it down below, okay? So getting into it, we'll wait for our, oh, you know what? The fairies, I see what they did. They were supposed to be in here, yeah. They're for the juicy at the end. So the earth card was supposed to be here. And then we'll flip the fairies. Look. Okay. So what have you got for yours? You guys have a lot of rebelling to do when it comes to your earth energy. I definitely see reclaiming of the bodies. Basically, your reading has that energy where we see like the wild woman, the green man, the free person reclaiming their physical body from the system, because we have the King of Pentacles and the Emperor, the Horn God reversed, and we have you following, getting back to your own instinct with Wolf, and then we have the High Priestess, right? See how she's changing? See that pomegranate right there? I just used pomegranate on the business and pleasure reading. You might want to check that out. But yes, so ooh, that's powerful. That's powerful. It's almost like, you know, throwing off what other people think of our earthen practices. Oh, so that can be it. Some of you might still struggle a little bit with the fact that people say like, oh, that's like worshiping the devil, or they don't understand what the pentacle means, right? Because here we have the horned god reversed and we have the pentacle reversed, right? So some of you are still struggling within yourselves or with others' opinions about demonizing that, but your instinct is like, no, that's powerful. Like, that's who I am. I want to go back. See the willow tree behind? Oh, how sacred is that? Let me see what's on her pedestal here. I believe those are rabbits, which are very pure, right? She's barefoot. We have the fish, very wise and pure symbols around her, much like Persephone there, right? The underworld. So a lot of you guys might still be a bit in the closet. You might still be trying to figure out, like, is it wrong to talk to trees? Is it wrong to embrace, you know, elements of this? And having to kind of free yourself from that and go with your gut instincts and kind of reclaim who you are is a big part of your being able to truly connect and be empowered with the earth element, okay? So where you're at, you guys are very powerful in the earth element. I think it comes very naturally to a lot of you, but your natural impulse has been flipped. Like, it's almost like you've been turned against yourself in a way, in trusting that, right? Noise pollution, all that noise in your head, right? All that noise in your head. You might have, you know, religious texts that have been pressed into your head, or people's judgments. You might even if it's in a light way, like you're like, man, they're gonna tease me and call me a tree hugger, like, you know. And for some of you, you are more empowered and a little further on your journey, but if you really are honest, there's still some hang-ups of that within. So it's like getting to the point that you can reclaim, you know, feeling fully free. Now, some of you have this journey where you are wanting to help, you know, they say like the divine masculine, kind of rid of toxic masculinity and that kind of thing. And so there, it's like, if you don't honor the earth as well, and this is an important thing, right? If we don't honor the earth, then we disrespect ourselves. And we always will hear that, you know, when it comes to protecting the water, protecting the earth, you can't say that you care for, you know, the women and the children, and you want the men to be their best selves, and all peoples to be free, and, you know, everyone to be out of their, to be able to be wild and claim whatever and whoever they are, if you can't even handle the world that way. Like, nature, like, you can't even respect nature. You don't even protect nature and let nature be what it is, right? And help conserve that. So some of you need to make a bit more noise when it comes to standing up for the earth, just as much as you do when it comes to like the political side of things, and see how they're interconnected. See how all of our different identities all are reflected in the earth in some form, right? And that this is where our bodies come from, right? We're just connected here in ways that we forget a lot of times. So it's about getting back into that primal part, because when you really go out and you know the land and you live on the land, you're connected to it, or you're connected to the earth, you start seeing that how everyone can be there. Like the mountain doesn't have to be the ocean, but the mountain doesn't have to disrespect the ocean, but the mountain can still be the strong, rough ass, tough ass mountain, right? And so I feel like some of you guys, it might sound so crazy, but it's like that's how magic is. It's very subtle. That's why witches change so much once you come out, and people know that. That's why they get afraid. When you connect to your instincts, when you start reclaiming yourself, you naturally start fighting systems and structures and just like bullshit programming that doesn't align with the true natural world, with your true natural authentic self. And so for you guys, that's going to be the sign, and that's going to be part of what's going to happen. So when we have our altar and we say, I'm going to work with this element, or I'm going to work with this deity, best believe that energy is going to come through, and over the next months you're going to change and grow, and you're going to start learning about that element, right? So this tree bark, I had done a nature one, and I had Gaia and the representations of Gaia and Green Man, right? And then I had I was connecting also with solar energy and trying to learn that more, because I'm so lunar, and solar deities can be, oh my gosh, they can be tough, right? And it took me through. I had so many parallels of that in my real life, so much of it in my rituals and in my meditations coming up. It was like whooping my ass, y'all. But in the end, I felt this balance within myself, this empowerment, this strength, and this understanding, right? And I had some beautiful moments and learned how to respect and not just run away from hardcore like solar energies, right? And so that's just an example. But for some of you, that's what it's going to be like working with the earth, right? Because it's not always what happens with the earth. Earthquakes, landslides, right? The earth is, she could be rough. Mama Earth can shake it up. And so some of you guys are going to learn that. You guys are going to be the group that, yes, when you study an element, study it in nature and learn its different formations, its different storms, just as much as you study its growth and its springing forth. And so for you guys, I would definitely study like earthquakes, shaking things up, how the earth shifts, underneath, how it renews itself when it's been stagnant for a long time, things of that nature. Of that nature, right? I get it now. Are very important to your path. I do see that you guys should have an altar. Not everybody has the same thing, but I see an altar here. I'm seeing a little area dedicated. You could use the color green a lot and connect. I'm seeing to bring more plants into your sacred space. So like on your altar or whatever, if you have your little corner where you do your spiritual work there, like to bring some greenery there, to maybe always have fresh fruit there as well on your altar, to think of, change the way you think of sacred things, right? It's not just the glorious crystals, it's the glorious fruit that we're putting into our bodies. It's the plants that give us life and that are alive, right? Plants can actually they've done a study and they could take like polygraph tests, right? They're alive, they can communicate. Even scientifically, they were able to pick it up, and there was like this plant that was like a witness to a crime, and it answered the questions correctly, right? And it sounds, might sound scary to some people, right? To these people who are like, oh my god, you earth witch, you scary tree hugger. But but it's like, of course, how arrogant would it be to think that the rest of the life forms aren't sentient, and that they don't have experiences as well. And that's what you guys are going to see more and more and more as you turn down that noise. Now I'm also seeing to listen to more natural things. Now I love music, I love all different kinds, but it's saying that in order to help the earth, watch your noise pollution. So think about, how is your sound, how are whether it's the muffler on your car, whether it's loud parties, how are you affecting nature around? You can really disturb, noises can make animals leave their nests and things like that, and really endanger nature around us. Think of the healing nature of music and sound, like natural sound, when we think of like water and streams, like whale vibration, their whale song is so important that the world wouldn't spin the same way on its axis if the whale stopped singing, right? So it's like really like sacred sound is something that is tying into your earth energy. So it could be like crystal bowls because that's very earthen. It's something that's going to ground you, but really listening to natural sounds and watching kind of the sounds that you put out. I'm also seeing that as reduce. Some of you might like not speak well to plants or to animals. You know, we have a wolf here, it could be a dog, things of that nature. And even if you're not around that particular animal, even if it's just in general, you're like always talking about how you hate cats or something, like the earth elements, like no, like be in alignment with the other physical beings and the physical life forms around you. Kind of think of that noise pollution that you're putting out, because the plants, the animals, they sense things on levels that we don't. They see things. Like, have you ever said something to an animal and you see them, like it looks like they're looking at your words? Like they're like watching your words like in the air as if they can physically see them, right? And if you have spiritual gifts, you can do that too, right? So it's kind of like really think about that. I feel like you guys have a good instinct. You have a very good instinct when it comes to doing earth magic. Really trust yourself. You're going to have, like I said, when you go on your walks and your trips, there'll be things that you'll find. You'll know when to, it's okay to take something, when it's not okay to take something. But the biggest thing for you guys is decolonizing your spirituality and getting out of the mind frame that it is negative or bad. Because when you accept this, you can be very strong and accept your full power. And I think a lot of you who have been having an imbalance of like active energy and passive energy, or any kind of dichotomy like that, it can really help your relationships, and it can help your own internal balance to work with the earth element. It's once you accept kind of the stubbornness of it, and that could be part of it. Earth element is where we look at reality. It is where we look at rules and how things are. And that's why earthquake energy is kind of good for you, because you don't like rules and how things are so much. Or some of you really, really do, Taurus. And that's going to get shaken up. You're going to learn how fluid earth can be. What about mud, right? What about quicksand? So studying all those different things is going to help you have analogies in medicine and insight and wisdom as you learn to let go of things that need to be uprooted and to solidify things that need to be kind of set in stone, if you will. So here we go, fairies. Thank you for waiting. Sorceress, rituals, power, and will. So the fae say they will help you. I feel like going out, we have ivy and berries, and we also have the little berry symbols of the pomegranate. Those could be very strong and empowering for you. Green witch, what flower is this? Is this a kind of thistle? I'm not sure. The book does say, so if you have the book, you can pull it out for that one. For me, I'm thinking thistle is what I'm being reminded of. So I think a lot of protection and edification will come for you on this path. You might even do your rituals outdoors, because we have the fae here kind of inviting you to come out and, like, you know, look for their signs. And when you have a strong will, so that's the thing, when you have a strong will and you know what it is that you want and you're connected to your own power, you have that support of the green world to do your workings. You are definitely extremely powerful magically. You have the high priestess and sorceress, okay? And I think that you are someone who can affect things in the physical realm once you learn how to work the earth element. You can literally uproot, you know, these bosses and rulers and rule makers in this realm who are not caring about the earth, who don't care about the animals, who hurt other people's bodies and they don't care. And they are kind of enslaving instead of allowing the wild, instead of allowing the instinctual and the free and just allowing us to be. I also feel like you guys can have very strong magic in helping to push back religious magic. And I do say magic because telling someone to take ceremony of eating blood and body, right? Like communion, that's I mean, that's blood magic. That's intense ritual, right? Hello. taught, necromancy, raising from the dead, all those kind of things, right? Those were signs, wonders, magics, miracles, quantum physics, all that kind of stuff. And all different religions have different kind of things that they do, where they want you to go to their afterlife matrix or whatever it is, right? It's an initiation into their pathway of being. There's many different pathways. So I feel like you will get strong enough, and you'll learn a lot, the commonalities of, how kind of the old magics all tie together, but you'll also know how to then remove those things. So it's like you're gonna have a hard time. It might feel like a hard time if you are like a more fiery kind of person or something, and you want to rush things and just conquer things. Learning earth element is slow. You should watch the Avatar, right? It can be slow. It's stubborn. It's the stubbornness element there is. But after you learn all of that, then you can more easily help people kind of when they need cleansings to get out of, long-term religions or rituals or pathways, because that builds up on us. The more you confirm something, the more you speak something into existence, it becomes more and more and more solid in the physical realm and the other realms, right? And so you will be able to help people take off some of that. Some of you might even learn to become physical healers, things of that nature, but more through your spiritual magical working. But so it's a long road, right? You're going to go all the way up to the King of Pentacles, all the way up to the Emperor energy. So it's like, trust your instincts, start listening, and be willing to have patience as you're learning, right? And turn down the noise, turn down the back talk. Then listen, and that's what he says on Avatar. He had to find someone to train him in the earth element, and he had to find someone who waits and listens, and that's the key for a good earth-bending master. And it's absolutely true. So you're going to learn how to perfect waiting and listening, and then you will be able to truly conquer the things in the physical realm that you want to. We have Lotus, Blue Butterfly, Transformation, Becoming, Lightness, and Beauty. So that just sums it up perfectly. After that, you will feel the lightness of the earth element, the joy of the earth element, and just the connection and the realness and the social energy that you can have with the earth, and how much you can truly affect things, not just as an ideal, not just as a theory or a law, universal law, but truly living it, feeling your body, your closer layer auras touching the other beings around you, touching the things of the earth realm, and just feeling at peace with that. So I think you guys have a very I want to say exciting journey. I'm gonna be honest, at some points it might be boring. It's gonna be like watching paint dry. You're just like, this earth element, working earth element, now everything's on hold, gotta be patient, learning it, But hey, trees are around for a long time. Mountains are around for a long time. Okay, there's definitely wisdom to be had in the earth element. So I hope this helps you. Oh, I keep doing this. We gotta do your essential oil and your herb. Someone's like, that was what I was waiting for. Patchouli. All right, so this is like the hippie oil, right? I love patchouli. Patchouli is so protective. It's so protective for love. It can push off negative energies like curses, hexes. It's so pure. It's so protective. It's like a very strong energy of like just unity and love, and like a communal, familial kind of energy. And so look up, work with, study patchouli. You do have to sometimes get the right like kind of patchouli, or use it in the right doses, because it's very strong. You'll be like, it smells like people on the boardwalk, right? And your herb here, I'm gonna have to show all of them, so don't tell the other timestamps, right? You're seeing them first. Your herb was juniper berry. I almost said root. Juniper berry. Right there. Okay, so you guys might have chosen juniper berry oil for which reading was it that I did the oils? I think it was it the body positivity? Yes, it was. So you might want to watch that as well, and watch the juniper berry oil one for that, because you got that as your herb to work with. So juniper berry, I love it. It smells good. You can actually burn it with the little green leaves that kind of look like cedar. It smells so good. It's protective for families. It's very protective for families. It brings in good prosperity and abundance to your home, and it just like has this loving, sweet, securing, but like badass feel to it. And I really appreciate and love juniper berry. I'll pull that out when I need an extra punch, you know, with my other sacred medicines, and it's amazing. So look up all the different uses of juniper berry and its leaves as well. And I think you can even make tea and stuff with it if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure I've had it, but look it up. Always look up herbs because I'm tired right now, okay? I'm just gonna be honest, all right? It happens. Even when you know all this witchy stuff, you forget sometimes. Look it up, okay? All right, so that's it, number one. I'm going to move on to number two. Let me know down below what you thought, if you liked it, if you connected with it. This is gonna be a long video. We're half an hour in, so I'm gonna get a move on. Thanks for watching. All right, for those of you that chose, oops, gotta move that. For those of you that chose number two, oops, look at the cards. Let's see what we got. We have electronic detox. Ooh, you gotta cut me off. We have 10 of air reversed. We have the 2 of Pentacles reversed, and I only drew the Pentacle cards from this particular tarot because I wanted to extremely focus on the earth element, which Pentacles are. So we'll do that for each of our elements. From one of the decks, I will only draw from the cards of that element in the tarot. We have Dragonfly Emergence, and we have the 3 of Wands. So we'll look at our oracles in a moment. Okay, number 2. So what is your journey of working with the earth element? Now, I don't know if a lot of you are really experienced with the earth element, or if you're really like focused or connected with it, because a lot of these cards are air and fire. So you might have a lot more air in your chart, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, or fire, Aries, Leo, Sag, and not so much earth. Or you could be disjointed with your own earth energy in your chart. This could be just be at this time, or it could just be overall you've just never really connected with earth energies. I didn't say it in the main portion, so I'm telling every timestamp. Watch the Avatar, you know, Avatar the Last Airbender. You guys know that's fire, okay? And it's air and earth and water. Watch that. It really teaches you about working with the elements. And the one that I have myself here on a video or DVD, oh my gosh, is the earth one. And it gives such good information. Like, it's really realistic on what you truly need to know to work with each of the elements. It has so much good information. Have your children watch it. It's great, okay? They're supposed to be rebooting it with accurate casting. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. So hopefully they'll do it right this time. So that being said, this is kind of what it feels like when Aang is like, you know, he's all airbender. Okay, y'all. We're back at it a few days later. So the Avatar thing, yes. So basically, Aang, the airbender, the last airbender Avatar, has to go and learn the other elements. And so he has to go and learn how to do earth. And earth and air are opposite elements. And a lot of you might feel like that coming into earth energy, like where it's just the complete opposite way than how you think. Even if you're an earth sign, sometimes we come into this life as a certain zodiac sign because we don't have it perfected. And that's important to know, because a lot of people don't understand that there's different levels to each sign, and you might come in as a Libra who's super balanced, and you've done that Libra stuff before, you know how to do it. You might come in as a Libra who has no clue what you're doing. And I do see some Libras here. You're like, what is balance? So yes, so you guys have to kind of learn how to be grounded and rooted and think like earth. Some of you might be a little further on that path, but it can still get kind of, you know, messy and all over the place for you when you try to solidify things and kind of balance your financial life with your health, for example, or just like very realistic things. So part of this group really can use social media to drown out some of your other gifts and to kind of you might either in order to avoid being present in the physical world, or just by accident because you get so distracted, you might really miss out on what is going on around you. So a good kind of thing for you to do could be to silence your electronics. Give yourself a cutoff time. A lot of devices now, I know like iPhone has it, and even like within YouTube, it'll tell you how many hours that you've been on and what you have been doing, if you've been doing things that are considered like recreational time or not. Now, if you're a YouTuber, those numbers can be off because they think you're watching entertainment, but you're doing your job. But you know what I mean? So you can, it can kind of be scary to become more aware. And I think some of you have been avoiding cutting off certain things like that, that you know are, you know, like for instance, you know that it exhausts you and makes you feel shitty to stay up until 3 a.m. scrolling through the gram, and like your eyesight's getting worse, you're having migraines or feeling dehydrated, you're just like going through all this, but you don't stop doing it, right? So this is saying electronic detox. You know, put on the airplane mode on your phone if you're sleeping with it by you. Try not to sleep by it. Try to minimize your time on there. And do things a little bit more physically too, even in life. Maybe instead of ordering out, walk down the 2 blocks and pay attention to the bits of nature that are around you, even if you're in the city. Or just, you know, feeling the usage of your physical body. And I relate because look at, you're trying to order in. Look, it's like even in your past lives, I think you were the person that was like, can't we get that on the ship? Do we really have to ride a camel over there? Can you, let's order that in. It'll take, you know, how many fortnights to get here, but hey, some of you are sitting on Fortnite all the time. So it's like, get back out. You realize there's an outside, right? Is part of, you know, it's like very basic, basic medicine to get back in touch with the physical realm. I do feel like even medicinally, getting back into using natural forms, and you'll have to see to which degree that is for you, but it could literally just be eating your vegetables or doing things a bit more natural is part of the medicine that you need at this time. Now let's see. Emergence. I love this energy with the dragonfly. Some of you need to know that you will actually be seen, like you, in a good way. I feel like a lot of you might be people who stay indoors a lot, and just the idea of going out, like your soul wants to be this wanderer and traveler. You might even put it on your screen name or something, but you're like inside all the time. Some of you might be like those Sagittarians who are afraid to travel and get a little bit like, what's the reverse of claustrophobic? Like you're just inside all the time. So this is your encouragement to like own who you are, own your body, you know, your physical realm, and go out. Like it's great that you connect to the physical things that are immediately around you, but like what about the greater world? Some of you are afraid of like all the stuff that you see on social media and the different omens about things. So it's kind of like, what can you go out and do to help, you know? And doing things like ordering in, getting stuff shipped, you know, as, hey, you know what, we all probably do it to a certain degree. For this group, that can be a way that you can start paying attention to your ecological footprint. By going out shopping locally, you're more likely to eat healthy. You can be more likely to, you know, experience the physical world around you, and you're not contributing to carbon footprints that are from like globally, you know what I mean? And some of you, it also is going to help to get on the ground, like go out and physically see what you can do to help the world, instead of just being inundated with all of the bad news and like not knowing what to do with it. Okay. And I'm seeing that for a lot of you, and somehow like subconsciously earth energy is very subconscious, even though it seems like it wouldn't be, because when you learn how to handle the physical things in the world or watch how like nature works, you suddenly become more equipped to handle your own life and the problems that come out to you more creatively and yet more like pragmatically. And so I'm seeing that for you guys. This group, you might have a hard time making certain choices, like, well, this or that. You might stay in like a place of imbalance a lot and have a little bit of a fear of the financial or kind of real world decisions that you make for your life. And it's like the more that you work through the element of earth and witch through it, like, because like, let's say you're trying to decide, well, should I take this rock or that rock? Instead of going and asking an expert, sit with that rock, physically sit and feel the energy, learn the actual energy and communication from that physical being, that physical item with you, and learn to trust your intuition and the magic and the connection between you and that physical thing in the world. You know, kind of getting out of that headspace, getting out of phoning a friend, and learning to sit there with yourself until slowly the answers start emerging. So doing things like that in nature, you know, even at your own altar, you know, taking time, maybe instead of lighting candles and things, you just pick up, you know, something like this and you open up to the wisdom of that story and you sit there and let it speak. You could do, you know, automatic writing or something like that to get your monkey mind. I feel like a lot of you have what they call the monkey mind, the monkey brain, which is like the ka 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 ka, that part of our brain that doesn't stop, right? So you might have to do something physical, like automatic write with this hand while you're listening over here to the message that's coming in order to just distract your your brain from, you know, thinking it needs to be the boss and commentate on every freaking thing, right? So learning to turn off the mind so the physical body can thrive and exist. Yes, because we have Daydreamer here. There could be some Pisces. I see a mermaid, and this is like a dreaming card. The dream realm is ruled by Pisces. We have Lizard, Tuatara, dreaming, sight, knowledge, and hidden gifts. So you have so many gifts that are hidden underneath all the static noise of your mind and your fears and like just the white noise of day-to-day life that needs to come forward. The life bringer. Establishment, growth, fulfillment, and this is equivalent to like the Gaia energy. Like she's actually the wife of the green man in this fairy deck. So you have the ability to be very lush. If maybe you've been thinking, well, I'm more like a social media witch, or you know, and I do emojis and through images or this or that. You guys might have a completely different path and be like, oh man, working with this earth realm is strange. But this is like, no, you can be more than just a flower crown, you know, to connect with earth energies. You could really be, this is establishment, growth, fulfillment. You know, that's how a part of you needs that in your spiritual path in order to feel fulfilled. So what you can do when you're starting out is you can take a journey to places of big energy, right? Maybe when you're holding smaller ones, you're not connecting as much. So like for instance, a lot of people who are just opening up to working with physical things like crystals will be drawn to quartz, because quartz is an amplifier, versus people who have been doing it for, well, it depends, but you know, sometimes if you're very in tune with crystals already, quartz can seem very loud because, oh, a robin just flew over here, so you guys might want to look up the energy and medicine of robins, the birds. It's a very chubby one too. It's so cute. I would show you, but you're on the tripod now, so so look up the medicine of robins, and that could be a symbol to put on your altar or to connect with in your journey. Actually, I might grab my book too and tell you a bit of robins. Yes, so with so going to a place where it's natural and it's still connected to the earth and it hasn't been harvested, and that, like maybe going to a meadow that's full of lavender, or going to, you know, a site of rose quartz where it's there and it's still allowed to be in the earth and it's not, you know, harvested and everything. That might help you get that huge pulse of the energy of the earth that you need to like, I feel like some of you have to be kind of shocked back into your bodies, like knowing how to feel your physical aura, like the closest auric body connect to other things. So if you go to something, you know, big like that, or like go immerse yourself, don't get lost, be safe, but like immerse yourself in the forest, like truly be there, you know, not just on the path or something, that will help you kind of start shifting dramatically your energy. So it's weird because it's emergence, but for you it's emerging back into nature, not emerging out of the woods, but going more directly into it. So I really encourage you to kind of submerge yourself in nature, turn off that monkey mind. You know, it's like use your mind for things like we have talking about growth, establishment, knowledge here, sight. Kind of going, earth wisdom is more practical, and it's more like kind of historical and realistic. It's like a heavier knowledge in a way. And I feel like you guys, like, it's a quieter knowledge that, like, this is what it is. And I feel like your minds need that right now. Not like this, like, what if, conspiracy, like, you know, and that's great. That's great. You know, and daydreaming a lot is great. But I feel like some of that, your water energy, your fire, your air energy might need to calm down right now so that you can learn kind of this quiet, steady wisdom. It's like when you do tree talking, you know, sometimes you have to have patience. Some trees are, you know, they've learned how to adapt around humans, and they do have like a quicker message, but some of them, they just have like this, it's like trees, right? It's like the Ents on Lord of the Rings or something. It's like this slow wisdom that will come when it comes, and the need to sit and receive that, and you can feel that wisdom like come into you and like layer, like it's like a ritual book that you found. So I hope that makes sense. I feel like things need to get more tactile for you, more hands-on. Okay, I'm gonna get this book. Since I can get up now and move around since you're on the tripod. Like, oh, the possibilities. And we're gonna look up Robin magic for you. Yes, so I also feel like crystal grids for you, that could be something that can calm your mind. Kind of like doing mandalas, but doing it with crystals. So what that is, and you don't have to look up specific things, but exploring it yourself is gonna be really good. But you know, doing things like you can make a seashell grid where you have a certain intention and you're gridding that energy down that feels good to you, right? And you start making shapes and designs. I feel like walking in labyrinths is very good for you guys to connect into your inner witch. That's a physical way to walk deeper into yourself. It's very magical and amazing. I would look it up. There's a lot of free labyrinths around the world. You'd be surprised. I'm also seeing sand art or sand mandalas, or even, you know, when we were kids and there was like those, you'd make your little sand art in those little jars. It was like by all the Lisa Frank stuff. So working with sand, or doing some kind of nature mandalas and nature altars. Like, what are they called? Not the cairns, but when you go like to the ocean, you stack some stones in respect as an offering and an altar, you know, just to show respect. So I feel like very natural, it might feel like very simple magic to you that way, is very powerful in doing that. And you can incorporate the tarot and the cards with it. I have some sitting right over here that I do that, where I pull out tarot that has certain energies and then I correspond with crystals. But even further, if you really want to learn this witching path, I feel like try doing crystal readings at this time. Try channeling in a whole message just from one stone or one rock or one, you know, pine cone or something. Try doing these kind of layouts as your magic and your altar messages, okay? Some of you might even go and make your own runes at this time. So it's about changing kind of that, again, the communicative energy of the mind and the creative mind into physical representation and communing with that. So let me find your Robin. Hopefully this isn't too long because I recorded, you guys might have a really long one because I can't remember how long your other part was. Robin. Okay, so we are using the Animals Speak book by Ted Andrews is what I pulled out right now. Ted Andrews. Let's see what it says. It is a herald of spring. Although they can migrate, they don't always need to do so. Its song is recognizable to all. So let's get down to the message. Okay. Oh yes, I forgot about that. Some believe that if you, so this is a tradition in a lot of places actually, that you are to make a wish on the first robin of spring that you see before it flies off, and that is a good symbol. The red is connected to Kundalini on the bird, and this one had a very big chubby belly with a lot of rest. So some of you are bursting with your Kundalini energy, that life force energy that wants to get out and connect physically. So for some of you, yes, that is very, we do have the life bringer. Some of you want to conceive or have a more fulfilling sexual life, and that is something that is absolutely within the realm of learning your earth energies and connecting and like I don't know, owning that power, right? The power of the Earth Witch. Think of, right now we're in Taurus season, it's Capricorn moon. Think of the, like, Beltane, right? The Mayflower, all of the spring pagan rituals around the world at this time during the earthiness of spring and Taurus season are very lusty. You know, they're not stuck into traditional different religious contexts. It's all about like exploration. It's a form of spirituality, and so some of you will be going into that as well. Fulfillment, right, was one of your words here. Okay, so this also talks about how male robins will fight over territories, but they're not physical confrontations. They're more with their words and without energy. So I feel like you guys learning how to own your physical realm, your physical space, you'll find more and more that you can still defend yourself and put boundaries without having to feel like this like intense violent interaction with the person. With the stronger you get in your physical body, like some of you are not in your bodies very securely, so your spirits and your minds are so affected and by like slander and bullying and people sending the evil eye. There's a high sensitivity, and it's, you know, it's good to be sensitive, but we don't need to martyr that, right? Again, Pisces energy here, Gemini energy, mutable Sag energy. So we don't have to martyr that part of ourselves, Virgo, all the mutable signs. You can allow yourself to be more grounded and secure, and it still means you're stable, and it's a good, you know, it's a good, or it still means you're spiritual, it still means you're psychic. We don't have to over-identify with the negative aspects of being an empath, right? We can be strong and secure in ourselves, and so you are able to actually, in a way, you know, if you are not someone who likes to hex and stuff like that, which don't reprimand in the comments if that's not your path. I don't take colonized mindsets towards spirituality. I don't take demonizing the spiritual paths of people of color. All right, that's a big issue in the spiritual witching community. I don't tolerate it. I'll delete it and I'll take you off my channel. Okay, but if you are someone who you're like, man, I mean, that's cool, but I don't want to always have to be in this place of defense. Well, the more secure you become in your physical body, the more protected your spirit is, and the less that you will have to address in protective magic, because you've literally given yourself a physical realm of protection, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a home that is more solidly built. You don't have to do as much protection as a home that has thin walls with holes in them. You know what I mean? So it's a wise thing to house your magical self, your spirit, into your body more securely, and Robin can help with that energy. It reflects a need to sing your own song forth if you wish new growth. Any confrontations or hindrances are more show than actual threats to go forward, because this talks about how it's very bad luck to steal an egg from a robin, right? The blue egg is the throat chakra. A lot of you, we've been talking about the mind and the throat, have gone through a lot of gossip, slander, like I said. You've gone through people stealing your ideas, plagiarism, you know, maybe some very, like, people just always steal what and get shine on, and maybe you aren't able to do that. Like, you're struggling financially and someone else is taking your ideas, your voice, you know, things from your culture, and they're building up success and running a business, and you're like, dude, you just took all that from me. And that's, you know, becoming stronger in your earth witching is going to help, and it's also going to let you know that they're bringing back energy on themselves when they try to steal from your territory, and that's not really a threat. Because the more you are connected physically in the earth realm, you're going to realize that, you know, it's kind of like when you realize that the forest has your back. You know what I mean? Like, man, I thought I was in danger, but this whole forest had my back. So they took that one nest I built, but I got a whole forest of nests. And that's how it's going to start helping your energy to feel more secure and safe, instead of feeling like all you had was that one nest and they came and they violated it and took it. So it's like, keep building yourself in this physical world, in the physical connection, because you are worthy to be who you are and have your safe space, okay? Yes, and then it talks about throat chakra, which we said you will often have if you have this connection, you'll have the ability to assert the will of your force to create new growth in your life. When the robin comes to you, it is to help you in this process. You may reflect you have been doing so inappropriately or ineffectively. Either way, the robin will show you how to do so successfully. All right. The number 12 could be significant for you because on average, baby, so witchlings, like the witchlings, the baby birdlings are fed every 12 minutes, and both parents help feed the young, okay? They're also born entirely without feathers, but they get a lot of nurturing that they need. And let's see, the active creative energy is shown in the red heart of the robin. So I feel like a lot of you've been kind of picked bare, you feel plucked down to the core by a lot in life, and this earth element is what you need right now. It is going to help you feel safe. It is going to help replenish you and teach you how to nurture yourself from the physical body down to, you know, your place in owning space in this physical realm. And I would really, you know, connect in all those ways that we talked about in this reading. So I hope this helps you and leads you into a place of empowerment on this journey. And I will talk to you soon, number twos. La 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 la. What is that Jim Carrey movie where he's doing all of those weird things with his mouth? That's what I'm feeling like right now. I just came off a live when I did that. And I went to also go watch Nat Hughes's live. I never miss one, so tune into Nat Hughes as well. So for those of you who chose number 3, the Acorn, this is number 3, even if the Acorn isn't the right option for this, because I filmed the first part a few days ago, so I'm pretty sure this is the one you picked was the Acorn, but these are the cards for number 3. You have outdoor water conservation, okay, my water protectors. We have the Moon. We have the 4 Pentacles. Do you guys notice that we're on a tripod now? Hey. We got Tsunami Wake Up Call. And we have the Queen of Cups reversed. A lot of water signs. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, done and done. We have Capricorn energy. We have these two that we'll look at in a moment. So, Earth element for you guys. I'm going to put the links down below for the decks and also for Avatar, The Last Airbender. I don't think I mentioned it in the first part, but watch that series. They teach you, like, each series is the airbender learning how to use a certain element, and it is so accurate to, like, witching, spiritual, psychic energy of working with things. There's so many good real tools put into that, so I'll link that down below. All right, so you guys are very much into water energies. Absolutely. Your earth energy, it might be hard for you to really, you know, get into. So I picked a pentacle card for each. Like, I only drew from the pentacles from this tarot. Oh, let me bring that down so you can see it. There we go. From this tarot, the Tarot of Trees, I only did the pentacles because I wanted to get very specifically, okay, within the earth element, which is what pentacles are, where are you at? So we are at the 4 of Pentacles, where you might be holding on very tightly to things that are earth related. When it comes to your health, when it comes to your finances, you might be very much in a stuck kind of place where you don't know how to thrive without, you know, with blossoming and with peace. I'm sorry, I'm like over here trying to get comfortable on this chair and not squeak it, so let me just move. Yes, so there's the energy of needing to let go, and I feel like why some of you guys don't let go in certain ways is because you're very emotional people. Like, you're like let's be honest, I'm water dominant. Like, you could be a little bit ridiculous with your water energy. We have a tsunami, okay, with the Moon reverse and the Queen of Wands reverse, or Queen of Cups reverse. You could be an emotional diva drama queen with your emotions. Like, it's just all, it's like outdoor water conservation. It's like, literally, could you take that outside? Could you and your emotions get a room? I feel like you guys are so water dominant that you might feel like, oh, fuck being realistic, fuck the earth element. Like, fuck, you know, like, whatever, money, whatever. And it's just like, it's a lot for you to try to deal with it, to connect to the rootedness, the security, the stability, the common sense of the earth element, because you're feeling all over the place. Maybe you didn't have a good relationship with that in your childhood, you know, in your path. You didn't come from a place of being very secure, and so it's just like, man, when you do get something, you kind of want to hoard it to yourself, or you might go into that place of lack where you feel like, well, you understand that other people in the world don't have everything, and that tears you up, but at the same time you don't have. And so there's just kind of this very strange relationship with the earth element and with your physical health. Some of you, it's almost like you might be physically inactive, either because you're debilitated by the emotional, spiritual kind of energy of your psychic gifts, your water kind of gifts. Definitely, a lot of you could be water witches, sea witches, or very connected to the water element. But it's almost like you don't go out and physically live your life in a way that is building yourself forward because you're so afraid of losing what you've got. Okay, some of you, because that's the advice, outdoor water conservation, needing to go out and connect more, which is going to be, you know, probably a message throughout all of these, is always like go out and see more nature because we're in the modern world. But this one is letting you know, like, you could be doing real things for everyone else. Like the Four of Pentacles, I always think of Scrooge. I always think of the CEOs, like, who give all the freaking money to Notre Dame instead of going and giving it to like Flint, Michigan, right? Things like that. So you guys could be misusing where you put your earth energy, literally down to the charity you do in the physical realm with physical resources. This is saying you can do a lot more than you think. And part of that is because you are a powerful witch, but you have that all turned inward. I'm going to be honest. Some of you are getting to the point where it's just like feeling sorry for yourself all the time. You're just way in your emotions. It's just like, you know, people who are empaths can get so self-focused and so like Eeyore about being an empath that they start mimicking patterns of like the bullies and the narcissists that they didn't like. They start reflecting that and just like, you know, they're just obsessed with their own emotions and psychic gifts and power and that whole struggle within themselves. So this is saying, this is like a wake-up call. Like, you have to come out into the real world. There's real issues out here, and yes, it's wonderful that you feel them and that you connect with them, but like, what are you doing about it? Like, are you actually going out there and conserving water, or are you just crying because it's getting hurt? Like, what are you physically doing? I feel like this group, this is where like you're the group that's like, go and be a volunteer. Like, you know, some places have like those ride-alongs for like the ambulances or something. Like, go out and physically do something for like others, for the world, for physical people that have physical needs. That's part of the earth. You know, people think being an earth witch is just like, oh, like being Snow White, you know, or being the old cool hag in the forest. Like, it's not. It's the physical realm is our physical bodies too. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. We feed the worms. We're part of that cycle. And, you know, being in a place where we just pull ourselves from it and say, well, I feel too much to acknowledge what's really going on, doesn't help anyone. It really doesn't. So you have the way, an ability to channel all those feelings into the physical works in your witching, and that is why you need to learn the earth element right now. That is what the earth element wants from you, and how to fulfill that is to learn how, because right now it's almost like instead of just watering the plants, you're just throwing a whole river over the plants. And so it's like, okay, that's too much water. That's too much. We don't want quicksand, we don't want mud, we just want, you know, lush trees with a drink of water, you know. So learning to pare that back. Now, some of you come off cold on the outside because your inner world's so deep. People don't realize, you know, how much that is, and that's the reason why you're cold on the outside to the outside world, because maybe you have to really try to keep it together. You guys could have Capricorn moon, Virgo moon, Earth moon, like that, where, you know, Taurus moon, you play it off, you know, and people just don't understand how much you actually care and feel, but inside you're really tore up. So this is definitely saying with your business, with how you spend your money, and with what you physically do. This is like, get up and go physically do things that help the physical elements of this realm. So if we think about it, like in the Gospel of Aradia Oracle, they have the card for the night women. Like, a lot of witches actually went out and helped the world and helped their community. It wasn't just about, oh, I'm a badass, sexy witch, look at my Instagram, let me appropriate whatever cultures I want and talk about how I'm too sensitive to do anything in the world. Like, the witches of old would be like, are you freaking kidding me? You know, no tea, no shade, no shame, but maybe if it's a negative, you know, if it's a negative toxic thing that's not helping yourself or others, we need to look at that. Right? So this is encouraging you. I feel like some of you need that message. Don't feel like you have to be like, you know, the overly emotionally self-indulgent witch. Again, water dominant Pisces telling you this. Sea witch, ocean witch over here telling you this, water witch. So I understand saying pull that back. Don't feel like you have to be the Instagram witch or the image witch, the, you know, whatever. This is saying be the witch that actually goes out there and helps people, because the Queen of Cups upright, like, she is amazing in nurturing others and being protective and offering healing, and, you know, you have the ability to see into other people. And I feel like some of you are Scorpio moons who have been out of balance. You're like psychologically beating people up and stuff, or beating yourself up, instead of just embracing, you know, embracing your path of growing and changing, and just allowing yourself to be kind of you know, good person in a way. You know what I mean? That's not saying that you can't be a badass and handle shit that needs to be handled. I'm just saying that maybe some of you don't believe the good that you can do in the world. Maybe some of you are still nervous about your gifts, or, you know, because you feel hurt by things where you weren't protected or defended, you feel like, screw it, I'm gonna do this for myself, and, you know, I'm gonna sit over here and make money with my witching, screw the rest of everybody and all existence. Some of you are the witches who don't care about the earth. Actually, you might just be watching this for just a little empowerment yourself. And I've seen witches, I mean, there's some witches that I respect a lot of their practice, and they have, you know, following on YouTube, and they'll even say, though, like, oh, they don't care about, they're not an earth witch, they don't care about the earth like that, like, they'll use whatever. So you know, I think this is more about evaluating that, not being the Scrooge with your gifts, your physical self. I feel like people need your presence, what you can do. Some of you might have healing hands, healing ability, if you were to open up and channel that emotional, that's what healing energy is. It's usually when people channel their water element energy, their spirit and water element energy, through their physical body. And they start learning how to let their physical auric energy translate that to someone else's physical auric body, right? So I feel like, but right now, this tree always makes me laugh, because it looks like two hands that are going like, fuck you, like giving you hands, right? Like, it's giving you back off tree hands over here. So that's what you guys are doing sometimes, instead of putting that medicine on it, right? Look at that, receiving that medicine. So you guys have the ability to channel things into physical energy. And this isn't even just Reiki. So Reiki, first off, Reiki is one form of energetic healing. People have been laying on hands for way longer than Reiki got appropriated into white Western culture. And Reiki is like an Asian healing modality. So let's acknowledge where all these practices come from and not just appropriate them, okay? But it's one form. So, like, I would have people say, because I've always been able to do distance healing and stuff. It's just always been there, right? And people would say, oh yeah, but are you certified in Reiki? And I'm like, Reiki is amazing and cool, but first of all, again, who's certifying it? Is it some, you know, appropriative, not good energy person that you're getting this certificate paper from, right? Let's pay attention where we get this from. Second of all, it is one method of tapping into one type of healing energy in the universe, and it's amazing. Like, I love real actual Reiki, and the ability to do that and channel it in. And the amazing thing about Reiki is that it comes from a different source than yourself. However, with you guys are someone that you have a big enough spiritual and emotional energy as a physical witch yourself, that you can heal people from your own energy field, and that's part of the wake-up call. However, I think in the past, you haven't known how to handle it or do it in spurts that agree with your physical body, and that some of you even have restrictions on your body, meaning impediments that have ailments that have come up in your physical body because of not knowing how to channel all of this emotional water kind of gifts that your magics have. So, because there's a difference in people that heal from their own energy, people who pull from the universe. Like, I can do both, you know, a lot of people can. So yeah, and that's what's awesome about breaking things down into bite-sized pieces. Well, semi-bite-sized. Working on a whole element is not bite-sized, but instead of just like witching gifts, you know, break it down to the elements, and then we break it down further. So I hope this is a really cool lesson, and that you guys are able to understand it in the way that I'm explaining it here. But yes, so learning when to heal from your energy field for somebody when your body is tapped out, and finding the balance, that could be the reason for some of your resentment. Also knowing that when we are not in a place of, being healed or having good spiritual energy, that we shouldn't be doing work on others until we kind of get back to our space, because our healthy space, because we could be passing along bad energy and bad medicine, which is why it's important that we don't just appropriate people's practices, which that was my point with the Reiki, right? Because you could be getting some other energy and juju through that vessel who's giving you that, right? So not to get overly paranoid, just to pay attention and listen. So for you guys send out a lot of healing energy. I feel like a lot of you might not like to hug and touch people sometimes, or when you do it, it's like overly so. It's like you're hungry, you're starved for it. And that could be because of this weird energy exchange that you have. So once you get your spirit, even more than your spirit, it's almost like just all of this kind of watery, witchy magic that you have to flow better in your physical body, you can start connecting to the physical realm easier and have better boundaries. So instead of feeling like you have, you just are drained because you go out, like I feel like some of you think that you're around energy vampires sometimes when they're not. It's just that you have the ability to give out a lot of your energy through your physical body, and then you end up drained, and maybe they end up feeling overwhelmed being around you because you don't realize it, but you're putting out a ton of energy to other people, and they're just like overwhelmed by you, and they don't know why, you don't know why. So it's kind of like learning how to, like, it's like you have this beautiful vase of like power and magic, but it's leaking, and you don't know how to like get it to contain itself and only pour out at the right times from the right spot. Okay. All right, so let's look at your other things here. The golden unicorn. See, it's beautiful energy when you learn how to channel it right. The golden unicorn, protector, guardian, and champion. See, you can do amazing, amazing things. Protect others, be a healer, be a guardian for, like I said, a lot of you might actually be water protectors. Shout out if you've been on the road with me, water protecting. You could be people who are out there, protecting the whales. I feel like your physical body can do a lot to be being on the front lines, being in places that are healing others with natural resources. Some of you might go into nursing or to be the herbal witches in your area that can help people, things of that nature. We have the stick insect, literally an insect that looks like a stick. Stillness, awareness, discernment, and composure. So having to still, when your emotions get crazy, when that power just is surging through you and you feel like you want to just bam hit somebody with it, or when you want to make others emotionally responsible for yourself, or when you're getting overwhelmed because you need to connect to other things. I feel like a lot of you need to be by a big power source in nature that you can tap out some of your energy to, or like a place where things are going on. A lot of you, it's straight up the ocean. Okay, I relate. You need to be able to go and commune that huge release of energy, because maybe a physical person can't understand that amount of energy, but something big like a rainstorm or the ocean understands that energy that you're generating. But you need to be able to release that and calm it within yourself in a way that you can manage it and understand it. Awareness, discernment, and the third eye, very big here with the unicorn there. So you have kind of, I love how each of these readings, there's some similar messages, but they can be vastly different. You are the physical earth element, your physical body that is channeling in this magical energy. And that is what is your tool, is kind of your physical self. I feel like communing. So this is one thing, this might sound so crazy, but whenever I'm really sad and I can't handle all of the physical, psychic, emotional, magical energy in me, it always rains. Like every time it'll be a rainstorm. And so there's times that I will do, I'll talk to nature, and if I really like, I'm in a place where it's dry, here I am, water, I'm a sea witch, I'm water mermaid, Pisces, and I'm landlocked. There's been times where I've just talked to the sky and asked for it to rain, or you commune with nature. And I feel like when you're respectful and you're going to nature as equals, you might be able to, in ways that others can't, talk to natural forces in a way of being equals. And with that comes respect and understanding, right? There's been times where there's droughts in certain areas, and me and other weather witches, did what we could to send you know, rain and storms that way. And it's tough, especially, and there's other things, you know, weather machines and shit out there now. But it starts, you see the storm start moving and start going that way that wasn't its original course. So I feel like you guys have big energy when it comes to how you can connect with Earth. And, you know, learning that, studying with deities who are like that, who have like sky magic, ocean magic, that they're, you know, have a bigger natural force between them, is more your path. And learning to the point that you can have a respectful connection and actually go out and do it's a big responsibility though, right? So that was my path. I changed. I was supposed to move to Hawaii, and I ended up going to Standing Rock and protecting the water source, and my path changes a lot depending on what the needs are, the real world needs are of the peoples around me that I need to help nurture and heal, and Mother Earth around me that needs me to stand up for her and, you know, help out, right? And I feel like you guys have that kind of path, because when you have this level of the ability to heal in the physical realm, you want to do that. You don't want to be like the CEOs who let billions starve and they don't help, right? Yes, your magic is your own. Yes, some people just want to be like, I don't have to care about anyone, fuck you, I'm doing me. You know, I feel like I've been through tough times and I've been persecuted, but I don't feel like that is the full best ability of your gifts. You have the ability to truly, whether you channel it through herbal medicine, whether it's through putting, you know, energy healing hands on people, whether it is, you know, doing conservation and everything. I feel like it's probably a bit of all of it. You kind of have that where nature expects it of you, just because you have the ability so purely to be a protector and a guardian. So I hope this resonates with you and connects with you. I would also look up robin medicine, because the robin flew back. I read it in number 2. So if you want to go back to number 2 and read some of the things that I spoke about for robin medicine. But our cute robin friend and a different one did fly up to this tree outside the window while I was doing your video. So that could be something to look into. And also stick insects, third eye. We have the moon and water energy tying very nicely into your earthing energy. And we also have little symbols here like the crab, tsunamis. You could study what happens to the earth when tsunamis are coming in. Like, there's a lot of parallels. Watching actual nature and actual storms will teach you a lot about how your energy works within your physical self. As crazy as that sounds, that's how I learned. Like, the moon and the ocean, they are my mother. I'm not joking when I said that. They taught me about being, you know, a psychic, about being a woman, about being a witch, by watching them and listening to their messages. You also have the wolf and the owl here. Okay, so those could be some things to check into and study them in their natural habitats and protect them and connect with them. So I hope this really was good medicine for you and helpful. Let me know if you like this reading, this style of reading. We're going to do the other elements as well, and I'll talk to you soon, number 3s. All right, this is going to be a long video because I think I already have like an hour recorded, and here we are. For those of you who chose number 4, which I believe is Pinecone, I filmed the other part and it's on the computer already. So if I mixed up this item, it's still the cards from number 4, okay? I think I got it right, but maybe. Okay, number 4 is Earth Element. Hi, my little witchlings. You might be like I'm not little, I'm old, but I'm just a new witch. But still, I mean little as an affectionate, like in Spanish when you say abuelita, and it's like you put the ita, which means like little. Okay. Borrow from the Oracle, the Go Green cards. The decks will be linked down below. We have Gaia, the world, reversed from the Gaian Tarot. We have 9 of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Pentacles. And we have, I'm going to switch these around, and we have Waterfall, Effortless. Okay. And then we have 2 other ones here from the Animals and the Fae that we will check in with in a bit. I feel like you guys are, yeah, you guys might kind of have the best handle on the Earth element so far that I've seen. There could be a lot of Earth signs here, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. I think that it might come more easily to you to connect with the physical realm. You might have it very dominant. Now, it's not perfected. We have the world reversed, so there still are things for you to learn, but I feel like you can be very good when it comes to maybe like finances come more easily to you. A lot of you have your own businesses already. A lot of you are very good with your healthcare. I'm seeing like shea butter and coconut oil. Yes, your herbs. You already do your little healthy shakes and smoothies, or try to eat right, things of that nature. It's so funny whenever I say "of that nature" in this reading, because I'm talking about nature. But yeah, I feel like a lot of you are in a pretty, sorry, I think this is a little off. I think a lot of you are in a pretty good place when it comes to your physical health, how you handle your resources, which are all part of our connection to the earth element. A lot of you are going to make a business that really uses gifts and tools from your earth witching abilities, right? So a lot of you are going to be very good at financial magic. You're going to be good at career magic, and it's going to come through your ability to understand the physical realm, the principles of the earth and of Mother Earth. Now, some of these you are still putting into context. You might still be trying to work out, okay, I understand how to manifest money and I understand the abundance of the earth, but the confusion between the two, because corporate things do not support the health of the earth, there might still be a little bit of a kink in kind of your energy system, or you're still trying to figure out how that all works for you. Like, can I do stuff that is making me financially stable and still be caring about the earth, right? Can I be in a capitalist society and still be an earth carer and be living a healthy life? So it depends on where you are in the world. I know here in the US, we have a big issue with a lot of, things from capitalism poisoning everything. And I know a lot of you in the world, I'm sorry, although it's not my fault individually, I'm very sorry that, our country's affecting your guys' countries as well on the same thing. So I do see those concerns being there. And I think those concerns are there because I just heard like Mission Worldwide, right? Like Pitbull. I think you guys can be very global in your focus of your earth magic abilities. I think things like bigger financial politics that affect the world are something that you can have your eye on to start addressing, right? Because the Queen of Pentacles here, the Queen of Pentacles, she stays in her own lane in some ways and builds her own security, but then she focuses outward. She always, like, the Queen of Pentacles is the person who could be married to like the billionaire, and you see her successful, but people can underestimate just what it took for the Queen of Pentacles to get there, and just how ambitious she can be, and just how much she really runs everything and can take over that business, that full empire at any moment, right? The Queen of Pentacles can go and hoodwink or take over from the Emperor, knock the Emperor and Hierophant out of there and become the Empress, right? And so I think a lot of you have that energy where you want to find a way to better the world at large. You want to affect the physical systems that are in play. Now, first, you want to be secure and have your stuff and your ducks in a row, be in line for your future generations. I think that's very good. But you also want to be able to make sure that we are overall, while being successful and stable and thriving, leaving, a better legacy that is more, it says effortless, waterfall, like the trickle down effect, right? You guys know about that, right? The rich have this much money, and by the time it trickles down to all of us, everyone's, scrimping and trying to get by. So I feel like this is really good energy. I feel like allow yourselves to thrive and be successful, because I feel like you guys are people who, can be trusted to be successful in the earth realm and not take it out on the earth and not take it out on people, but make everybody thrive and everybody flow and everybody be able to have their own lane and be abundant. Now, some of you are coming to this and you've been struggling with that. Maybe you've been frustrated with people who are more successful than you have been. Maybe you have been, you've gotten to that point of success for yourself and you're like, man, should I keep this all to myself, or should I really, go for it and focus on bettering the world and the planet and trying to change the way that people do business and people, have security and the way people interact with different generations? I think you absolutely should. I'm feeling here, borrow from history the lessons of the things that we don't want to repeat. Also borrow from history the times that there was more harmony, from the times with our ancestors where there was other ways to do things, like borrowing, like bartering, like you know, having systems that didn't destroy the planet like has happened most drastically, especially in like the last 60 years. It's just like, it's ridiculous, right? So I feel like with you guys, you're going to work more intimately in your business and career with others, because you're going to need to network in a way that is healthier for the planet. I feel like a lot of you are going to do, I'm hearing co-ops, fair trade businesses. How does this tie into witching? Well, you could be using your witching gifts to make these things happen. You know, you might have clients that come to you. I do feel like a lot of you do have witchy businesses, or that you just like right behind the scenes, behind this closed door, people don't realize that why your business is thriving and popping so much is because you're really good at financial magic, which is earth magic, right? It's the earth realm, it's physical needs, it's root chakra. Anything that is root chakra is earth magic, it's earth medicine. So I think you will be very good at that, and that is why you will have more natural practices in your business, because you are connecting to the earth element and trying to full-fledged work out that energy in a way that it is beneficial to all our relations, to all peoples, to all of the creations, the earth itself here. Okay. So yeah, don't be afraid. Some of you are like really want to be a pioneer so much that you might not borrow good ideas that, like, if it helps the planet, then do it. Who cares if, you know, who came up with it? I'm not saying steal anyone's ideas, but, you know, if it's trademark, watch out. I'm not saying say it's your idea. I'm just saying incorporate different practices, right? Ecosia is a web browser that I use. It plants trees like every 45 times that you look up something, which goes very fast. It's kind of scary how quickly within a day, how many times that we look something up. It's cool though, right? Because we're checking our words and things. But every 45 words, they plant a tree. They have accountability. They have everything, like visibility that you can see. They've been verified. They show you exactly what they're doing with all of that traffic, which translates as money for them. That they do. They show you where they're planting trees. They tell you other areas that need help. Like, it's so great to be able to, you know, and it's from something that is just a natural part of my business, being online and connecting. I can, so when I'm finding the pictures for your guys' thumbnails and things like that, if I'm not finding them on Instagram, I'm using that website, which is helping to plant trees. So literally I'm creating better medicine for all of us and giving back to the earth on something that energetically was connected to us all, right? And I feel like that is the level of earth witching that you can be doing. And I love that she has this here. So like your life, how you live your life, how you do your business, how you take care of yourself is all earth magic. How you dress yourself, you know, are you dressing yourself in, I'm seeing dressing yourself with, you know, crystals, or if you're dressing yourself in, you know, renewable fabrics. And when you're connecting and you're wearing something that was supporting a woman who didn't have a job before, who was able to connect with the land of her peoples and create something from the land with her, you know, practices of her peoples, and then you're honoring that and supporting that, like that's magic. And I feel like you guys are going to learn that the human interactions and the interactions that we have with each other and how we adorn ourselves, feed ourselves, and dress ourselves, that is ritual, that is magic, right? The everyday things like that, like we all have a mantle that has stuff on it, or we have a shelf that has certain things on it. Those are altars. That's magic, right? And so I feel like you guys are going to learn more and more that everyday magic, that practical magic, that magic that is in, you know, the folk magic that's put into why we do certain things. Why do we light candles and put them on the cake and blow them out, right? What I think more and more you guys are going to have your eyes open to the significant and the repetitive patterns that we have handed down through our traditions and our ancestors, and have more and more respect. So with this reverse, I want to let you know, some of you, I'm big on this, some of you have not been culturally respectful. You could be gentrifying certain areas of magic, appropriating, and I think that you are going to start allowing people to have their own voice and their own magic, and you're going to start appreciating the magics from you know, and folk tales from your society, from your culture, from your lineage, from your countries of origin. There's so many different things, because for instance, the birthday candles, that's something that is like from our social culture, right? So we have that all over the world in different places. It's huge here in America. That's what we do. There are certain things that are more cultural rituals, like if you think of Shabbat or something like that, right? There are or religious rituals like communion. So it's important that we allow, not going to that. Earth magic's very specific. Earth signs like Taurus, they like, this is who they are, this is where they came from, this is what they do. And I think that is a really awesome lesson of earth magic, versus like fire magic is just like, I don't care who's it's from, I don't care what the ceremony's for, I want it, so I'm gonna take it, right? And air magic can be like that. I don't care, I can turn it into ideal and I can take what I want. And so this is like, no, real earth magic is like, can be so specific. It can be like, that's where you have like swamp witches, like this one bog holds the medicine and magics of their family for generations, and that's all they need is this one bog, right? And I feel like it's going to be beautiful, because I see you interacting with people and allowing everyone to be in their own lane, in their own magics, and you too, and finding how we can make like this global network of, witching, or at least just support. I see you still being a little bit solitary in some ways and having your own life and your own path, but just kind of leveling up kind of the global energy for witches, and for a better ecosystem, and for like kind of equality, while you're doing your life. Like just how you live your life is going to provide that with so much magic interlaced. And that's why I feel like you're going to be the kind of person that when you leave something to someone, it's going to be like, it's like everything you have is going to be like an amulet or protection. It's going to have that feeling of like, oh my gosh, do you feel this table? Doesn't it feel like it has a story to it? Because you're just putting magic into everything. The way you clean is magic. Well, everything that you use is magic, okay? And that's why people are going to want to borrow your stuff. We have Python, discernment, detachment, transformation, and renewal. This goes so perfectly with what I'm saying. We need to discern what's for us and what's not, what's the best magical path, what edifies us the most in our life, and then have detachment to let go of what doesn't, right? So this Python isn't trying to take every branch in the forest, this one branch and this one moth and these flowers right here are like that magical punch that resonates with them, that allows them to be their most powerful selves. Transformation and renewal, renewable energy I'm hearing. And we have the fairy Norn, planning, patience, and cooperation. So it takes patience to sit and learn earth magic. You guys might want to check out the unicorn reading, number 3. I think some of you picked 3 and 4. We're on 4. Yes, 3 and 4, because they had unicorn as well. But yes, having patience as you learn all of this, as you plan out and enact all of these things that you have. Sometimes we have to have forgiveness and patience, because maybe we have to shop somewhere that's not the best ethical choice that we wanted, but we're in limitations because of where, the finances that we have in the city that we live in. Sometimes we have to order something, from online instead of being able to buy it local. So it's like having patience and forgiveness with yourself, but still moving forward in the ways that you can. I think it's very important that you're a supporter of small business every time you can. Even if you're shopping globally, to shop from small businesses globally is very important, to support other witches and not take it as competition. That will help you thrive. Some of you have been closing down connections with other witches because maybe you're seeing it as, you're seeing the beauty and thriving in them, and maybe you feel like it won't reflect the best on you, and it's saying no, have that cooperation. It's going to bring out the best in you. It's going to bring out beauty. But look, the unicorn's still a unicorn, the fairy's still a fairy, but they can appreciate each other and both develop the best in their own lane and help each other. Like, for instance, they could have a discussion about how best to glow, right? The fairy has these shimmers and iridescent wings that are beautiful over here. I mean, and look at that unicorn posing up in the live chat in the FaceTime, okay? The unicorn's looking at themselves in the FaceTime. You know how you have those friends, they just look at themselves the entire time. You're like, why did you want to FaceTime me? So you could look at yourself. So they're both being themselves, but they can still have a conversation on, ideas that they have to glow, right? So I feel like that with you guys could be so good at building up and becoming like a voice of, you know, people might say, how do I do financial magic? You might have a friend who is from a different witching path, and you don't have to do their way, they don't have to do it your way, but you have some tips that apply to both, right? And I don't know, I really like the energy of this. I feel like there's a lot of you that can be very empowered, respectful witches, and who will uniquely put your own, you know, advice and medicine, and you'll show a good example yourself, but you'll also be able to be very respectful and community oriented in allowing other people to have their platforms and their voice and find a beautiful way to interact. And I'm catching that there's a snake right there too. So snakes can be very powerful in your magics. We also have the deer, an eagle, and the butterfly. Okay, showing up, those could be, and we have a lizard here as well. It's kind of like a gecko kind of lizard, not a salamander, because that would be the wands, but kind of like a soft lizard. Okay. So those are the insights I have for your path at this time. I hope you like this reading. Let me know down below if you're excited for the other elements in this series, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you.